Welcome, Internet people. I'm Tammy with Overthinking Retirement, the channel where we like to endlessly analyze every retirement decision. And today we're going to talk about what it feels like transitioning to retirement and also our week 2 budget. Adjusting to retirement. You would think it would be easy. I mean, this is something we've been dreaming of for years. But in my life, I've found that I really struggle with transitions. It's kind of weird because in other areas of my life, I'm very adventurous. I'm that friend on the hiking trip who never wants to turn around because I have to see what's on the other side of the hill. But in my day-to-day life, I don't like change. I love routine. I love predictability. I love putting large portions of my brain on autopilot. For example, if I'm out on the road going somewhere and I run into traffic, my first thought is not, can I find a way around this traffic? My first thought is, do I already know a way around this traffic? And if the answer is no, I just might sit there in that traffic rather than venture off into brand new territory. I've read that transitioning to retirement can be very difficult for some people. Losing the daily interactions that they have with coworkers, the stability of the daily routine that they have, and the sense of purpose they get from going to work can be very disorienting. David retired 2 years before me, and he was one of those people who did struggle with the transition to retirement. He spent a lot of time trying to figure out what his purpose was and whether life had any meaning. See, when you retire, you suddenly have a lot more time to think and a lot fewer distractions. And for him, this led to him having to deal with some things that he'd been able to ignore before. It was probably good for him in the long run, but for a time it was pretty scary. And I'm hoping I don't have to deal with the same thing. So last week I talked about our retirement budget. But in case you didn't see that video, I'll do a quick recap. David and I retired a couple years earlier than we had intended because of some stressful situations in our workplaces. So we don't have as much retirement savings as we had hoped. And in our first few years of retirement, we're going to have to live on a little bit less money than we're used to until we're eligible to draw Social Security. Our goal is to live on $120 a day for our first year of retirement. After that, we'll look and see how our life satisfaction is and how our finances are, and reevaluate if needed. Because we're living on a tight budget, we've been trying to explore the area to find some inexpensive things to do, to have fun and entertain ourselves. So this week we bought some bicycle helmets so that we could go explore some local bike trails. And we went to a regional festival in the nearby town. We had a great time. We went out to dinner, we listened to some live music, and we got to see some of the local businesses display their wares. It was a lot of fun. So let's look at what we spent for the week. So each week we always add our fixed expenses, which are basically our health insurance premiums, our auto insurance premiums, and our charitable giving, because those are decided at the beginning of the year. So they're just a daily expense we have to include. Our next expense is our lodging expense. This too is pretty stable for this week. This represents the amount of money that we have to pay for the amenities at the park where we keep our RV and where we live most of the time when we're not traveling. This week on Monday, we did our main grocery shop for the week, and we spent $87 on groceries. Our amount that we try to stay under for groceries is about $500 a month. We're always happy if we can get away with less, but as long as we, come under $500 a month, then we're on track for what we consider is a reasonable price for groceries. Under home goods, we had a $10 expense. That was to cover some light bulbs. We needed to replace a bunch of light bulbs around our house. So that was what that $10 was for. And then under adventure, I'm just going to include in this category anything that's for basically having fun and doing fun things. So $60 was what we spent. We went to Walmart and bought each of us a new bicycle helmet because we hadn't gotten new helmets in years. And actually, I think our old helmets were destroyed in a fire. So we're fortunate that we do have mountain bikes already. So our expense to have that type of entertainment going forward is just that $60. So we were a little bit over budget. We have budgeted $120 a day. We were a little over on Monday, but that's because we bought groceries and such that are going to last us all week. On Tuesday, we had our regular expenses, and then we had to buy some propane, and we did laundry. So the propane is basically what we use to cook with and heat our home sometimes. Other times we use electricity. So propane is sort of the backup heating method, the method we use when we need to heat up the rig quickly. We had a good day that day. We were well under budget at $72. Then on Wednesday, we had no additional expenses. We just, stayed home, did chores, that sort of thing. So our expense for the day was only $45. On Thursday, we bought some coins to take showers. So in an RV, most RVs like ours do have showers, so we can take a shower in our RV if we want to. But it basically steams up the whole RV so that it adds a lot of moisture in the air, and then we have to run a dehumidifier to try and get the moisture out of the air. So we often prefer to just take showers here in the park. But to keep people from just turning on the water and letting it run, they actually have a small fee that they charge for showers. There's these little coins that you buy to put in the shower, and we stocked up on those and spent $10 on that on Thursday. So our total for Thursday was $55, still well under budget. Friday, we didn't spend any money, so we were at $45, well under budget. So on Saturday, as I spoke of earlier, we went to a local festival and just really had a good time, listened to some live music, and it cost us a total of $70 for drinks and food and entertainment. And I've got a little short recap video of what we did there. So I'll show that to you right now. So this week's Dirt Cheap Entertainment is
Salty Sea Days.
Salty Sea Days in Everett. There's supposed to be food. There's supposed to be music. There's supposed to be fun for the kids, fun for the family.
And hopefully a free tie-dye t-shirt.
Hopefully a free tie-dye t-shirt. That's the objective. And my objective is an adult beverage. So we'll see.
We look to the mountains. We don't care if it's only a dream. Nothing is really what it seems anyway. Now little by little, in the twilight's gentle flow, in the dance of fading light, we grow. And all the warnings, when you wanna be loved by everyone, you get fooled by anyone so easily. I'm lost. You say it's tired, so am I. But without you, I'm lost. I'm lost.
Ugh. It is so hard to go from sunshine and festivals back to spreadsheets and budgets, but the reality is it's keeping a budget that's allowed us to retire early and be here in the first place. So back to the budget. So even with the entertainment that we did on Saturday, we were still well under budget. So $115. So that was terrific. Sunday, we had to buy a little bit more groceries. So our total for the week for Sunday was $70 after the $25 in groceries. And our total of the week for the week was $604. So again, we're adding money to our bucket of funds for when we have more expenses, when we do traveling, when we go on cruises. We expect it's going to cost us more than $120 a day. So we're trying to live as simply and frugally as we can when we're not traveling so that we have extra money to go towards those other fun things. So last week in our budget bucket, we had $400. We were able to save an extra $236 this week to add to our bucket. So our ending balance for the week was a positive $636. Well, that's it. That's our week 2 budget. We had fun this week, and we were able to do it on a shoestring, I would say. So maybe this whole retirement gig is going to work out for us. If you enjoy watching us and seeing how we manage our money and the transition to retirement, please like and subscribe to this channel. It'll help us get up and move up in the YouTube algorithm so more people can see us, which I think would be really fun. We're going to try to post at least 1 video a week, so hopefully we'll see you next week. Until then, we'll be overthinking.